Hey, 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 or should I say ho, ho, ho. Here we are on the last Christmas card of the season. I am filming this on December 18th, 2024, and I'm going to make one more Christmas card because that's the season right now. Yeah, as you can see, I'm wearing my best or worst Christmas sweater, you decide. I've got my good Christmas nails. I've brought my best holiday cheer to this video today, and it happens to be the season finale of season 3 of the Great American Stampin Show. This is so exciting. We've done 22 weeks, you guys, all 4 of us. 22 times 4, that's 88. Plus we did 12 weeks of Christmas. That equals 100 Christmas cards, you guys, and we didn't even plan that. So 100 amazing projects, not all Christmas, of course. 100 projects came to you during season 3, and we could not be more proud. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, this is fun because this is going to be a big episode. What you're going to do is watch this video, and you'll watch each of my 3 competitors, Shannon, Julie, Jody. Their links are in my description. So you'll click those videos, watch them. You will pick a favorite, and you're going to say like right here on YouTube for the one that you like the best. Or if you just have a huge toss-up, you can vote for 2. Nobody's gonna come and arrest you for doing that. We have had so much fun with you guys this whole season. We have all been winners. We've all had so much fun watching, and we're just grateful for all of you guys participating with this awesome show that we've been doing. So, are you guys ready to get started stamping? Because I think I am. If you've been watching, then you know we've been turning to page 22 in the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. There are 22 layouts right here. That is why we did 22 episodes, you guys. And here we are on number 22. Zoom in on that. Take a good close look. That is the layout we are going to be doing today. I usually do a little printout of it, but my printer is on the fritz. So let's memorize it right now. We've got a card base. We've got a layer on top, almost as big, but maybe a little more narrow. We've got a couple squares, and then we got something coming across in between the squares right there. So I am going to do my best to copy this layout and figure out something really gorgeous for you guys. So this time I started with the 2 squares. I mean, that was the thing that jumped out at me the most. And if you can believe it, these were literally sitting on my table in my craft room. So I had made a project last week where I did 1x4 strips, and I had cut them, got as many as I could from a 6x6. And that left me with a little 2x2 square from the corner. So I had these hanging around. They're in shaded spruce from our Regals Designer Series paper pack. And I love this color, so I just went, okay, there's my 2 squares. But I wanted to have something fun on them, so I reached for these cool little ephemera packs that we have. Now, I love stamping, so I don't reach for these a lot. I mean, a lot of times this could be like instead of stamping. But on this card, as you will see, I'm going to do some stamping too and have some fun with techniques. So it was okay to use some pieces that are pre-cut and give you a little shortcut. So the first one, let's grab this little tag piece. It's got like a gold rim around the edge, and we're going to use that. This one is called Tags for the Season ephemera pack, and you just get tons and tons of tags. There's 2 of everything in there. And then this one is called Joyful Images ephemera pack, and let's slide this out. I try to kind of just slit one end of these open so I can continue to slide the pack in and out. And for the other one, I'm going to grab this. So I've got a cute little poinsettia. It's got the gold accent. See that in the middle of the flower? And then we've got a gold rim on this. So we've got some coordination going between these 2. I'm just going to attach dimensionals to the back of this poinsettia here and just attach it right to my little striped square. Then for this one, I want it to have my greeting. I'm going to actually rotate it this way so that this little tab can get hidden. And I'll grab my shaded spruce ink pad and one last stamp from Peaceful Season. I swear I have used this so many times this season of the Great American Stampin Show. But this one has had so many different good Christmas greetings, you guys. I think you would love this. So if you don't already have it, grab it. These are, like, they say a lot without being overly large, so they can look really good on any card. Plus this Christmas, the word is so big. Let me show you this. This is a Christmas card base that I had done, and I haven't done anything with it yet. This is wild wheat. So you guys will have to dare me in the comments if you want me to finish this card. I honestly have no idea what to do with it. But it does show how big and pretty that stamp is that says the word Christmas. And so let's grab our Peace and Joy. We'll ink up and just plop that right in the center. And this one, I'm going to attach it with dimensionals as well, but I think I'll wait until I'm putting it together so I can get that exactly right. But there are my two little squares. And now I just need to work on my card base, and there's a little layer that'll go on top of it as well. So for this card, I've decided to do a real red card base. This was 5.5 by 8.5, and I have scored it at 4 1/4. There's nothing like real red for a beautiful Christmas card. We have a few really nice red shades, but I went with the real thing this time. And then here's my layer that's going to go on top. It's a tone on tone, so this is real red again. And I have cut this at 3 3/4 wide. No, 3.5. Yes, 3.5 wide by 5 tall. Okay, so I've done a little 1/2 inch less here and 3/4 of an inch less here. Now for this piece, I wanted to do some kind of interest to pull everything together. And what I pulled out is this new embossing folder. This is called Starstruck. And this is a brand new embossing folder that's actually not even available for purchase yet. This is going to be part of our Celebration promotion, which is going on in January. So you could earn this for free by ordering in January. And what I liked about it is it actually has little stars with explosions out around it. But I thought it gave the vibe of the poinsettia, like it was a similar kind of a feeling. So that is why I tried it, and then I loved how it turned out. So I've just placed it right in the folder along this line to help keep it straight. And now I'm going to run it through my Big Boss machine. Here's how the piece of cardstock looks now. And on the layer, it would really have a nice contrast with the texture / no texture on these two layers. But I also wanted to do a little bit of a technique on this. So I am going to emboss it with clear embossing powder. So I've got my tray already out with a bunch of the powder here. All I need to do is get some Versamark on here. This is my preferred embossing ink pad. And I'm just going to basically bring it straight to this card base and just drag it along. And at first I was trying to get it only on the design, but then actually the embossing looks really great in the spaces too, so don't stress too much. You can press or do it really light. Try some experimentation with this particular technique because it's really pretty and fun. This Versamark ink is incredibly sticky and tacky, and so even by just getting a little bit on here, you are going to get some embossing powder sticking to your project. So let's see what we've got here. We'll sprinkle on. And you don't need to stress too much like touching the sides. This is a very imperfect kind of a technique. You can see I have more down in the spaces here where there's none in the spaces here. You're gonna love how this looks no matter what. So the next step is gonna be just to take your embossing heat tool and heat it up. And the biggest tip I can give you with this is hold your paper up here. You don't wanna lay it down on your surface. It's harder to get all of the areas that way. You're gonna hold it up, hold on to one end while you emboss the other end, and then flip it. And then don't swirl while you emboss. You're gonna hold it still. So for the first few moments, nothing's going to melt because it's just heating up. And once it gets up to temperature, it'll melt the powder. Let's take a look at that. See this, how it's turning clear? Very, very easy to tell when this melts. And now I'm just going to systematically move across this project. I'm not going back over any embossed area, and I'm not skipping anything until the whole thing's done. Okay, look at what we've got now. Goodness sakes, that is so beautiful. Oh, I love it. Put it either way. All right, let's work on this layer for a few minutes and then we'll attach it to the card base after. We know we've got our 2 squares, we've got our layer. Let's go back to this drawing. I'm sad I don't have it in the screen this time, but here it is. And what we see, this last bit we need to think about is this little line that kind of comes between the 2 squares. And so what I've decided to do with that was a bit of this ribbon. It is just the same shaded spruce color as these designer papers and just so pretty and easy to work with. So I'm going to cut about 9 inches plus. And this line goes kind of right around center, a little higher than center. So I'm going to position it just a little bit higher than center. And I'm just going to overlap these 2. Imagine if like Santa was putting on his belt. It just is going to overlap. And then in order to secure it, I'm going to use a piece of our baker's twine. So this is like the peppermint stripe baker's twine. Get, again, about 9 or 10 inches of that. And look how well it matches my little candy cane fingernail. So cute. Let's just lay the baker's twine vertically here and get it right underneath this middle where we want it. We're gonna pull both of these sides so it's plenty tight to just how I want it. And then we're just going to tie a double knot. So that just means we're gonna tie it twice. So 1 loop, second loop, just like that. And so that should be enough to hold it. We'll also tie a little bow. I like to take whichever one is pointing downward, make my loop with that, and then wrap the other one behind. Tie it exactly like a shoelace. Don't ever pull baker's twine tight until you already have the bow about the size you like it. If you try to tighten it and then adjust it, it'll curl up, which is very tricky to work with. So kind of get your bow the way you want it there. For these layers, I'm going to place my squares in. I'm just going to use a few mini glue dots. And the reason I'm doing that, I don't want lots of height, so I don't want a dimensional, but I'm not going to use Seal Plus because I'm gluing down to something that is embossed, not the heat embossing, but the texture embossing. The embossing will have a hard time holding on to glue. About like that. And now we can tuck this little guy in. He's going to be on dimensionals the same way that the poinsettia was. And I want the words to be straight. I don't mind kind of positioning some things tilted back and forth and stuff, but I usually like there to be something to sort of balance out the eye and make it kind of come together and make sense. So I'll slip this little part with the hole under here so it's hidden behind my bow. And try to get my words mostly straight, something like that. And then if you want to, optional add-on, you can grab a mini glue dot using your piercer and tuck it right under this knot. Now mine turned out pretty secure, pretty tight, so I don't know if it necessarily needed it, but if you struggle at all with, you know, that layer getting nice and snug, then a mini glue dot will do everything to save the day. We are ready now to attach this layer to the front of the card. So I'll use some dimensionals, and whenever I'm doing dimensionals on a piece with ribbon, I will typically straddle the ribbon as well. It'll just kind of help hold the ribbon in place. Just get those peeled, and we're going to center this, look on all 4 sides, and just kind of make sure it lines up the way you like it. And let's give it one more finishing touch. I'm pulling in my Earth Tones Shimmer Gems. And these guys have this lovely little green one. And I have used these a few times during the holiday season. Whoops, I picked that up and where did it go? It's like stuck to my face maybe. Oh, here it is. Okay, bye-bye. You have misbehaved and I'm sending you away. Okay, now we'll put one in here. Kind of opposite corner up in here. And maybe a big one too. I always like to use the gems in quantities of 3. Here we go. I have finished 2 cards like this now. I think we've done a great job trying out a fun technique here that turns out a little different each time. This is like, it almost looks crystallized and frozen by snow. I should maybe pick this up so that you guys can get a really good view of how that looks with that background technique. And then we did a fabulous job working with the squares and creating a duplication of that layout idea. I think we're done here. Did you guys love it? Oh my gosh, this card turned out so fun, and I do love how it turned out. I hope you already clicked like, but if you didn't, now would be the time to make that decision. This has been super fun. I could not be more grateful for all of you watching and participating. It's the best Christmas present ever to have so many friends just stamping along with me and having so much fun. So thank you for that. Make sure you're subscribed, and I will catch you again very soon. Thank you.